back to our NCAA football win total series. We're continuing on the AAC, and we are now on to the Rice Owls. And this program does have some continuity. So Mike Bloomgren's going into his seventh year. Marquez Tuiasosopo is going into his fourth as the offensive coordinator. Brian Smith is going into his seventh as the defensive coordinator. And the Mike Bloomgren era has not been great. Started in 2018, 2 wins, then 3 wins, then 2 wins. 2021, 4 wins. Finally, in 2022, in Conference USA, he gets 5 wins, goes to a bowl game, loses the Lending Tree Bowl, and goes to 5-8 that year. Then we go to last year. They start out with a loss at Texas, but then they upset Houston in double overtime, beat Texas Southern, lose at South Florida, and then beat East Carolina by 7. They lose to UConn at home. Then they do beat Tulsa on the road, but then a 3-game losing streak. Tulane, SMU, at UTSA. They would get 2 wins to end the year, though, at Charlotte and against Florida Atlantic. That got them to a bowl game. They played Texas State in the First Responders Bowl and took a loss, 6-7 last year for Rice. But Rice is replacing a lot. They lost their quarterback. They have a new one coming in, and that's going to be E.J. Warner. E.J. Warner, Kurt Warner's kid, was okay at Temple. He can create big plays. He does some good work on third down, but he's also a turnover machine. Offensive line is decent. They bring back 4 starters and have a transfer coming in for that 5th starter spot, but it's not amazing in the offensive line. The Georgia transfer Chad Lingberg is going to be one of the better offensive linemen, but this offensive line did not have a lot of push last year. At running back, it's going to be Dean Connor, 771 yards last year. He's going to have to be productive, especially with not a lot in the receiving core. Luke McCaffrey's gone. Connors then is now their leading returning receiver coming out of the backfield. They have Bowden Grown, who's a good tight end, but there's really nothing at wide receiver for this Rice team. On defense, this could be the best defense that Mike Bloomgren's had. There's not a ton of size up front. The tackle rotation is very deep, though. They've got about 4 to 5 guys that can work there. Coleman Coco is going to be the biggest threat, along with Josh Percy on the defensive edge line. Myron Morrison and Andrew All are going to be your 2 linebackers to watch out for. Both can make some big plays. The secondary wasn't bad last year. They didn't get torched over and over, but they didn't make any big plays either. Clay Wyatt is going to be the main guy there. He's a great tackler. They also have safety Gabriel Taylor. They're going to need Sean Fresh, the quarterback, to really step up and actually create some turnovers. Rice did not create a lot of turnovers last year, and they turned it all over way too much. My concern this year is they're going to keep turning it over without that safety valve of Luke McCaffrey. And when we look at their schedule, they open August 31st against Sam Houston. I have that as a toss-up, likely a win. They'll probably win the next week against Texas Southern. Then they're at Houston, at Army, before at home against Charlotte, and then a bye on October 5th. The 12th, they go to UTS, or they host UTSA. That will probably be a loss. Then they go to Tulane, probably a loss. October 26th, they're at UConn. That's really a toss-up. I mean, you can put it 50-50 either way. November 2nd, Navy. That should be a win. Then they're at Memphis. That will be a loss, and then another bye. Then they're at UAB, and then against USF. They should get 1 win in there. But when we break down the schedule, I think they get a win against Texas Southern. I think they get Charlotte, and I think they get Navy at home. That gets them to 3. I lean win on Sam Houston. That gets them to 4. They won't beat Houston. They're not going to beat UTSA. They will not beat Tulane. They will not beat Memphis. That's 4 losses. So we're sitting at 4-4 already. The questions become Army, UConn, Navy, UAB, USF. I don't think they beat Army. I'll give them Navy and UConn, maybe one of UAB and USF, but that really only brings us to 6 wins. The lines that are out there are the over-under at 6.5. It's actually the over-favored. There are a couple 7s out there. We're going to actually take an under 6.5. So we're going to look at ESPN. They have the under 6.5 sitting at plus 120, and that's going to be our pick for Rice. If you like this content, make sure to hit the like button, leave us a comment, share it with your friends, and we'll see you next time.